Welcome, everyone. Welcome. I'm going through an episode and I'm just not feeling well. So the grieving, I mean, the way it flipped on me so quick out of nowhere this morning. I be up at night and I sleep during the day and try to walk around to get my exercise in. And when I woke up, it was more like to me, it's like a nap, you know. When I woke up, um, I freshen up, brush my teeth, and I prayed, and I felt it just the way the episode. I felt it before I went to bed today. From this morning, it was just a. It's hard to explain, but what I'm trying to say when I did get up and freshen up and stuff, I ate me some salad. And then I for my dessert I had my the rest of my butter pecan ice cream. And I don't know, it's just it's a crazy feeling. My mom's birthday is in March, March the 8th next month. So is mine. March the 21st, I'll be 60. Thank God. I'm just going through a lot and I've been detoxing from my bipolar meds, blood pressure meds, diabetes meds ever since October 2025 to see could I really just do this on my own, you know, just working with when you're in the USA, you know we deal with a lot of processed foods and stuff, but you try to do the best you can what you've been doing. Everybody just can't up and leave. And as I've been looking at a whole lot of videos, the people up and leave going to Thailand and stuff like that. And I know the way God gonna have me where I have to take care what I have to take care of with me before I up and leave and go any damn where, you know. So that's another thing you gotta work on. You can't allow even I think it's so awesome when you look at the other creators and stuff of what they doing and traveling, and they've been doing this. This ain't nothing new, you know. It's nothing new. Oh boy, this is nothing new. And I know I supposed to go and talk to some groups in the future about my recovery story of homelessness and suicidal. Um, but I'm gonna have to probably get back on my bipolar meds. Um, I tried to do it on my own, but it's um it's hard to try to do that on your own. And I detoxed a while, and I'm getting ready to set up these my doctor appointments to be able to see what's what to go back. I'm going through a hot flash right now. Gotta turn this thing on. and dealing with menopause and anxiety and depression. Oh boy, I tell you, um, it's I'm just, I don't know. I had to come on here. I was led because I've been doing like the podcast, like not showing my face, all of that stuff, because I don't be feel liking it. But I got a lot of stuff I got to do. I got dental work. I still got to, do that because my teeth shifting. Got to get the appointment and stuff on, you know. Then I got the dermatologist. I got a lot of things and mentally to do before I get on the road. I've been doing a lot of sketching. Um, you know, I sell a lot of my sketch, limited edition on eBay. You know, it's whatever people feel like they want to invest in it. Fine, it goes towards my platforms. You know, um, I do. I'm basically, am on disability because I do have fibrillation and I have the arthritis in my spine and everything. And plus, I have to work on my weight. All the above, all the things that we have to do as a Gen X. But I'm trying to, oh boy, I'm sitting up on my bed. I'm just trying to mentally have to take care of my mind mentally. Um, like I said, the grief every year just comes on and you have to allow yourself to grieve. You have to be careful also what you're watching on your internet. I don't own a TV, so I don't want a TV. I just watch things on my YouTube since I already have a channel. And my channel is dealing with mental illness is real. And I'm also known as Essence Paula. I've been, you know, having that name over years, years, years. But I'm saying this is because this helps me push through my depression. This helps me when I'm busy to do what my purpose is to be a mental health advocate and whoever it blesses, who, like, subscribe, comment, it's a blessing. And a lot of times I just don't feel like it. I don't, when you go into an episode, you just don't feel like being bothered. I'm already dealing with, some things where I had to unsubscribe, some content creators that always selling the thing of something about dealing with Bangkok, Thailand, and it's cool. I get it, but I'm not going to allow anyone to fear me into leaving the USA. I believe in God. You know, God. I just believe in God. That's all I can say. I'm not. It's lovely to see people in the different. Like I say, I've seen this since uh uh the '90s, where people traveling and stuff, and I didn't understand what they were doing, but now I do, and I said that's nice. But it was fun back then to see people doing that. Now these people is really selling the idea of moving to Thailand, like folks, they just up and running and leaving things. No, God ain't having me going out like that. Mm. You could tell people just up and ran, leaving stuff and leaving this. And some people probably had to. And, you do what you got to do. But it started really getting into my mental estate, you know. When you're dealing with mental illness and living with bipolar 2 disorder, you don't want to feel where you're being pushed somewhere that you got to, you know, move somewhere and it's not healthy where you just feel like you just got to just be in a situation where everybody's scared, of everything. That's just God don't give you the spirit of fear, and God is not the author of confusion. You just got to keep reading in your Bible, you know? You have to keep reading in your Bible and everything. But I'm just so tired of them, I decided, I said, well, I'm gonna have to start subscribing. I'm not gonna be looking at them keep selling the fact to move to Bangkok, Thailand, move this, move. You know, and it's to the point that I don't even want to dare go visit Thailand. I don't like the way they have they way they're doing with the visa. It's just every day, every day. You just move around, move around. People were dealing with mental illness and by living with the bipolar 2 disorder, which is a medical condition. You know, you you don't you can't live like that. I understand about the visa. It's all about the visa now. That's money. That's money. I love the fact that they have the visa in Thailand where they can have first they come and it's just with your passport. You're there for like 30 days or 60 days or something like that. Then the next, either you want to be there to go to school, but you have to pay for the school now, I think. So you go to the school in Thailand and learn the language. That's awesome for 6 months. You have a plan, to do something different, want to do something different out the family. Then the next is to cook. They got a visa where you will be cooking. So that's another couple of months that you're buying. But I'm trying to see where's your living at? Where how's the living? Some people, there's a young lady that is retired, but is not of the retired age. So she got some form of fashion income coming in. You know, I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say this. I was in an episode where in 2024 I was blessed, sponsored to go with someone to St. Martin's. Okay, that was my first time out the country, and I got to renew my passport too. For 10 years. I only had one stamp on it. So the 10 years will be up next month on my birthday, so I got to renew it. So anyway, I was blessed to go there, and she sponsored everything. And I didn't have no income at the time. That's 2024 or nothing. And then I had a lot of things going on with me as well. Excuse me. And I also was going through an episode because also I was upset with my grown ass children. Excuse the expression. I'm upset with them before I left. And I'm at the senior living. I'm in Carrollton, Georgia, hour away from Atlanta, born and raised. But I've been from Atlanta for 5 years now. But anyway, that's another video. Um, excuse me. And I didn't know how I was gonna pay my next bill, and, I was just going through so much, and that brought on a trigger, and I was depressed. Even though I went on the trip to St. Martin's, out the country, um, like I said again, it was a blessing. But I don't love seafood. I'm not a seafood lover. And I was there a week there with her, and it started raining, and it's expensive to do to go on these different events. We was getting ready to go on a boat ride thing, and that was $100, even though she, blessed me. But I wanted to do something else. I wanted to make my perfume, so I passed the boat thing. I didn't feel like doing that. So anyway, um, and then she got sick, her sinus or something for a day. And, I understand it was her birthday week. We was there a week, but she wanted to do something every day. I get it. She she had been there. She had been there about 3 times. But I wanted to get into the pool, and I sat on the beach. Me and her, we got in the pool together at one point, and we were laughing, talking to her about it. And then I went 2 more nights with myself, just to myself, just enjoying. And I wanted to get some rest. You know, when you going through an episode, and I didn't want to tell her this, but I had to push myself. Um, it was hard. It was really hard. And the fact that I'm in another country was culture shocking to me. That was culture shock. And and some people I saw on the beach, I know they was homeless. You gonna see that. But they were trying to get out that island, you know? I ran into a strange man, like he was from, I don't know, Vietnam. I don't know. He just looked, his eyes, white guy. He just looked as strange to me. I don't know what kind of spirit that was, but I was in the pool minding my own business, and he said something in some kind of language. I say, "What do you say?" He already done triggered me by watching me strange and looking at him, because they say in some countries, they look at blacks kind of strange or something like that. Yeah, look at you, But anyway, I said, "What are you saying to me? Do you speak English?" And he said something. And he said, "Yeah, I speak English." And I'm like, "Okay." And so I turned around and just started swimming the other way or whatever. And other people was there, but he was kept walking around the pool, and he was trying to see could he get my attention again. All that old stuff like that. Man, I said, "Let me get my butt out of here." I just want, and I was there at night, and thank God other people were there. And I just had some strange encounters, and I really didn't feel good, but I really enjoyed the karaoke. We we was gonna dress up on her birthday, but she was like, no, she decided, she changed her mind. She wore something casual, but I put on my red dress anyway. And she didn't like that. I put on my red dress. I said, I've never been out the country before, so I don't know what I'm supposed to do. I guess she expect more than what it was about. She was trying to decorate the hotel room. It was in the Hilton. It was a beautiful room. I had my own room, bed, and bathroom. She had hers with the bed, the beach view, and I had the one with the yachts view as well. And it was that was so beautiful. And we was like across from the clubs. They had a lot of stuff going on. We ended up going there, and we're just stretching the time out. But the thing where um I ate salad, I tried to stay on a nice, way of eating. The salad was very fresh. It was nice. And but she had me try some other stuff, like some fish and stuff, and I didn't like that. So I ended up basically was safe with salmon, you know. So, but yeah, we ended up going to the little store and I ended up getting my little snacks, like my little Oreo cookies and stuff like that. I just had to kind of keep my mind together, at least have something familiar that I liked it. I got some Vaseline on. I just washed my face and brushed my teeth. And and I was like, you know, I really did love the karaoke though. I love that. Then we went to the art gallery. I love that. So karaoke, art, and what else did I like? That really helped pull me through and to make my perfume. Okay. So I was able to get a certificate making my own perfume and to and what how I made it and everything. So you get the blueprint of what you make and all of that. Um excuse me. Of what you use, what you know you would make to make the perfume. But then when we did go, I ended up getting sick, going coming back to Atlanta and to have an hour drive back home to Carrollton, Georgia. I ended up it took me 2 weeks to get well. I caught a cold, got caught in the rain, coming out the shuttle bus in St. Martin, going into the airport so we can get on back to the USA. Excuse me. I say all this, people show the good part of what they're traveling and stuff. But behind closed doors, they be struggling. And especially if when they're in another country and then they take off without having all the income they supposed to have. When they get there, see, going to St. Martin's, if you want to stay there, you would never have a citizenship there. You have to come there with your own business. They don't have the jobs are for the people, you know, in the island. And only thing I keep thinking about, I'm not born in 1966. I was thinking about Gilligan Island. I used to always watch that, but I didn't know that they was shipwrecked and stuck on the island. I just realized that when I got grown. The island is beautiful. If you born in the USA, it's something different. But I realized when people got there, excuse me. So it irritates me the way if I'm watching this video, this lady is trying to, she keeps advertising Bangkok, Thailand, 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 Thailand. And as I understand, Thailand is like a city. I'm a city girl from Atlanta. I don't want to deal with anything with the city because I write and I meditate. And I need the quietness. I know there is some smaller towns for that, but um, it was just that she rented a car, so we rode around. I'm not a mall person. So yeah, she got upset with me quite a few times. And I said it's best when I do travel, I have to be alone because I was in an episode. I got triggered with different things. Um, uh, she is what you would call a social butterfly. I was a couple of years older than her, and she was like, yeah, just talking to everybody. And one lady, older white lady, she spoke to. She said, "Hey, how you doing?" All this stuff. That lady turned around and asked her, and this woman was in St. Martin. She said, "Do you know me?" She's from the lady from New York. She said, "No, I'm just speaking. Just say, hey, how you doing?" She said, "Oh," she said, "I'm from New York." So, so she was letting her know that when you go out the country, the people be saying, "Oh, they so nice. Everybody's so nice." And then I heard one content creator say, "You don't have to go around smiling and grinning from ear to ear and doing all of that, because you got people from all over, especially if you're a tourist. We're foreigners. You're a tourist that, you know, every, everybody just don't go for that southern thing." And she was from Detroit, so, but anyway, when I just woke up from this nap, I was just feeling like shit. I'm guess I'm pushing and feeling a little better, but I'm just trying to really, when I get up, I just stay silent so I can hear from God. Just get in His presence, and I always say thank you, Lord, and I pray for my family, my children, my mentors. I have a great mentor and friend and neighbor. So they're very much in my corner. They're older and than me, and if I don't know what I would do without them. They really, really been such a blessing to me. Family wise, excuse me, I'm an only child, and I got three grown children, and they are going through 25. I got a daughter 25, then a daughter 30, and my son 38. Gave me three grands. My girls, they finished, went to school, whatever, and doing what they want to do in Atlanta, whatever. My son is building on his own thing, security, whatever, but he's mentally ill. He just don't want to accept the fact that he's mentally ill. He needs help. So he's in trouble. And you know, and I don't like the way they play in my face. And right now I'm so sick of all three of them. Right now, I'm sick of them. You know, I'm just kind of tired of them right now. And as they call you, playing in my face, trying to play mind games with me. Um, everything, something happened. Whatever happens, you know, they'll tell me good a lot of times what's good going on, but when you concern and certain things happen, don't tell mama. Don't tell mama. And I decided last night I'm going to do a Don't Tell Mama uh podcast. I'm doing a Don't Tell Mama podcast. I call it a tour, comedy tour, but it's a podcast. And I don't mainly tell the schedules of things. I just do it. People hit the replay because a lot of times if I say, "Oh, I'm gonna do this on so," I may not feel like doing it. So I just do it and just promote the replay. And I get it. Don't tell mama because I played that same thing on my own mama for years, and as an only child, I came out of a strict household, and I understand the strict household. I get it, cause nothing new is under the sun. My grandfather was a Baptist reverend, and my grandmother was a housewife and stuff, You know, it was tough. I grew up, I'm west side, west side of Bankhead. Grew up in my grandparents' home. My mom and I had to move back with our grandparents when my dad died when I was 5, and my father had a heart attack at the wheel on the way to work. He was one of the deputy sheriff of Decatur in Atlanta. He gave out warrants and stuff. But heart attacks running my family, arthritis running my family, and my right hand, I got arthritis all in my body. And I try to just keep what I keep doing, trying to keep sharp in my mind, because I'm not going out like that. Mental illness is on both sides of my family, but I grew up in a family business where my grandparents came from Noonan, Georgia, with 6 shoe shops. My grandfather fixed heel taps and soles. And so my uncle and my mother was the baby boy of 8. So he took over the business because my granddaddy started getting sick. So that's all I saw, was having your own business. Even though in the house, I seen rats and mice, and they were one of the old brick houses where you could see on my YouTube, mental illness is real Paula, what is it, S2R, showing the house that I grew up in. I probably put it on my Substack thing too. And shoot, you know, we served the whole southwest side of Atlanta. My family was well known of the business. That's what I grew up in. But yet it was hard and tough. After my grandparents died, my mother I realized she was spoiled. She was the baby of 8. She was the last to leave too. But my mother, she worked hard. Bless us hard. She worked. It was hard. After my father died, after my grandparents died, she worked, and I started working at 16 and helping her with the bills. So I didn't have a childhood too much. I had to grow up fast. And that's what I was saying in my sketches. My safe place is to go back into that little girl. And that's my space. And when you see those sketches and stuff I be doing, that's me going back into my childhood, digging back into my inside of my childhood, and not knowing that, I was depressed all my life. What a child to know when they lose their dad at 5. I was the daddy's girl. I remember my dad, but I didn't know him. So, um, yeah, we ran southwest side of Atlanta, you know, and I could tell uh my uncles and them, and I could tell. Well, one of my uncles were when he wasn't on his meds. That's where the trauma began at the house on Bankhead. You know, when he didn't take his meds, and one night he didn't, he bust me and my mother's bedroom door down, and we ran into the other room with my grandparents, and we prayed. And when he came back around the house was a big long shotgun house, straight, and then it curved to the back. When he opened up my grandmother's and grandfather's French doors to the house, um, 'cause they had French doors and stuff. It was a big house. And he said to them, he said, "I want y'all to get out." And my grandmother said, "Well, open up the door." My grandmother always walked around with an iron stick. You would think it was a cane, but it was an iron stick. And Bankhead is bad, and it still is. It's gotten worse. It used to be all white neighborhood until blacks moved in. And when my uncle bought that house for my grandparents, it was a clause in there where the white family, when it was all white, it was a clause in there to not to ever sell that house to a black person. But by my uncle being the businessman that he was able to work around that clause. And yeah, we had a lot of envy people. My neighbors, a girl that I grew up with, being before we were born, we had problems with her family members right next door. They were from New York, and they were always doing stuff to uh try to they did they did stuff, walking across our yard and just doing stuff, just always sitting uh on the street next to our house. You were right there at our property. You and your other guys, the guys that they hang out in the street, they would be sitting there right there at our property, drinking beer, talking, all that stuff. They were always a problem. And really, it was jealousy because I understand that her grandparents wanted to buy that corner house, always wanted to buy the corner house we had. And, you know, and of course, you're going to deal with people of jealousy because of, they knew we had the business and we practically ran Southwest Atlanta. Just people always coming and getting their shoes fixed and stuff. But we didn't see it like that. It was hard. It was hard. You know, you live in it, but people on the outside looking in thinking you some top dog, and you know, they were just hard working folks from Noonan, Georgia, and I look at that house now. It started caving in the front, the roof, but another black man bought it. I was able to get to see it when they was working on it. I was so glad because I remember my uncle asked me when I was in the 10th grade. He asked me, "Did I ever want that house?" I told him, and I'm glad I did say no. My grandmother ended up dying in the house, and it's too many bad memories. I had mental illness on my mom's side and my dad's side. So when I advocate for people and talk and everything, um, I um, I let them know that even though we have this mental illness like anybody else, you could still live a normal life. Take your meds, do your exercise, and watch what you eat. You know, that's so important. That's life anyway. And it's just like being in Atlanta, born and raised, as they say, Grady baby. Two fingers go up, Grady baby. You have to be from Atlanta when you say Grady baby, because Grady baby is a county hospital with great doctors that they be trained at Grady and go to Emory and all over, where people all over the world come when they visit Atlanta. It's one of the county hospitals with great They even keep a helicopter on the roof for whoever president is in office, and they come to Atlanta. Um, Atlanta has really grown. I'm telling you the truth. So many people, yeah, you go there and you be in Hollywood, but Atlanta has been unfair to us as that's our town. Um, and what I mean unfair to their own people, and that's why a lot of us is left, because so many people come there and they would do service quicker for them than for us. We've been waiting for years to get certain things done or whatever going on, and somebody can come out of town and then boom. Atlanta operates about on um who you know. It's not what you know, who you know, who ass you kissing, who you sleeping your way up to. It's all of that clout chasing. That's what Atlanta is about. Um, I never fit in. I'm not a follower. I don't do trends. I am a leader, but I am teachable. I stay humble. But that's what I saw growing up. And I avoid going into Atlanta to even try to see my children. It took everything out of me when my daughters and them moved somewhere together for me to go and visit them and spend the night. Oh my God. And they moved to where I lived at one point for 1 year when they was much younger. They really liked it over there, but that was over there by Greenbrier, if you've been to Atlanta. Um, of course they building up still. But it took everything out of me because when I learned from Gucci Man, he's a rapper, a young rapper. He's in his 40s now. He was diagnosed with schizophrenia and bipolar. And I always felt like something was wrong with him. I'm so proud of him. You know, he's done much better. He went to prison, of course, because it's something about if you trigger a schizophrenia or whatever, people with a mental illness, those are the one out there are very dangerous. They're very dangerous people. And I've been in situations and God just brought me out of it so I wouldn't hurt myself or anyone else, one number God. Um, so I learned from Gucci Man when his wife said that they had a house in Marietta, Georgia, Cobb County. If you've been to Atlanta or whatever, she said when they would go back by and visit, she would get a hotel because a lot of these young men or people or women, whatever your neighborhood is, it's like to say you could take a person out the ghetto, but you can't take the ghetto out of them. Okay, so so if you grew up in a certain area and you have those certain ways, you know, I mean, if you see only what you see, robbing, stealing, and whatever, they become what their surroundings is, at times, unless you have parents that can really, really, you know, put a hold, really have control over their children. A lot of time we don't know what our children doing 24/7. Especially if they're like teenagers or whatever, growing up. So of course he became whatever the neighbor were, selling drugs, blah blah blah. And I don't know what they do now, but of course they got now the rappers, you see them investing in real estate and stuff and doing their thing, and I'm proud of them of that. 'Cause I love rap. I've been loving rap ever since it came out, Sugar Hill Gang. But I don't like the gangster rap because like I said, I'm from Bankhead. So it is what it is. My parents tried to keep my grandparents. They try to shelter me from all of that. Like I said, all I saw were my grandparents was married, my uncles and them was married. I seen married people. When I was born, my parents was married. So that's what I grew up around. And entrepreneurship. That's what I saw. That's why I said I would never have seen myself on a job for 30 years, and nothing wrong with that. But for me, we're no better than anybody else. So, um, but yeah, when Gucci Man, when they said his wife said when they go to that house in Atlanta, because they moved, of course, they have another mansion somewhere else. She said she get a hotel because he said that when he comes back to Atlanta and be in certain areas, it triggers him. And that was an eye opener for me. I said, no wonder I had a hard time. Was trying to go last year to go visit my children and stuff. Because when I was driving, because I got rid of my vehicle last year. I was all through Atlanta just driving in certain areas. You wouldn't catch me at night coming out of there. I'd be trying to get on back home, back to Carrollton before it got dark. So I will always be driving and be all up in Atlanta. And especially when my mom was living, I was her driver. So I took her all around. I did what I had to do to be a caregiver of her until that's another video. I had a nervous breakdown trying to deal with her and her dementia, so I had to put her in Cobb County in memory care because it was too much. So I understand now what Gucci Man was saying now, the rapper. I just some places I can't go back in Atlanta because it triggers me. I've had some strange times in Atlanta that was mentally bothering me. But anyway, I can't believe I stayed on it this long and it's dark now, you know, it's gotten dark and I don't keep curtains to I just close my blind. I'm senior living, been here before 4 years in December. But I'm grateful because like I said again, I'm my episode, I felt it. It was so hard. My whole body was aching. It was just, and I had to realize and say, "Oh, I'm in this grieving. I'm having an episode," and I know it. I know because I started. I called my mentor. It was 1 or 2 o'clock this morning. You know, he's been with me for 10 years, over 10 years. Know my family. I knew his wife when she died. And I told him, I said, I just had to talk. He said, okay. He said, he had to get up early that morning and take a lady, he had to take someone somewhere. I said, I'm not gonna hurry. I just had to talk. And that episode hit so hard, and I started deleting people, unsubscribing. Just start doing stuff, you know. It just takes you into another world. It just feels, oh, it feels, it's a crazy feeling. So and I just be napping all through the day. I'm up at night sketching, creating, doing my content creating, writing. So I got a change phone, so I had to get back on Substack so I can start back doing my writing. Working on my documentary of mood swings on my Substack. I'm very active. I try to keep my mind sharpened. I got a friend I grew up with from Bankhead. Excuse me, we're the same age. Another friend of mine, and she's in a group home. It's my allergy. And we talk. We talk. Anyway, excuse me. Let me go on and eat something. Excuse me, my allergies and stuff. It's hard. I have to push to take a shower. And I noticed another thing what Gucci Mane wife said. She had to put them on a routine. And they take a shower together at a certain time every day. A lot of times you don't feel like showering. I'm funny about my bathroom, my home. I try to keep it clean and in order. It with things in its place because I do not like a cluttered house. Oh my god! But it is what it is. Basically keep things clean, fresh, keep my window up. But for me, I would just wash up if I don't feel like taking a shower. It's 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 a mental thing. I guess because it's dealing with me mentally and with my fibrillation, whatever you want to say, fibro. Anyway, I have by me having arthritis in my spine. Um, yeah, it's a push. It's a push. Um, I realize I just can't do it by myself a lot. I can't. I need to get back on my meds, um, bipolar meds. Um, that's why I can't allow those videos on YouTube be talking about, yeah, move to Tyler, move this, move. I just got to shut that down. I got to shut it down. I ain't going no damn well unless when God say go. That's all. That's the bottom line. Cause I know I got to work out some things before I move anywhere else. And yes, God is relocating me or whatever. But I'm not gonna be. I'm not gonna let somebody control me. And I almost went there too. I almost like, oh my God, I'm just gonna up and go and yes, I'm gonna move the town. I almost did that. I almost did that. I'm like, what the hell? God said, did I say that? Yeah, God is relocating a lot of you all. And it may be like round the corner from where you at, or maybe in another city or state or out the country, you know. But you don't allow, make sure you, like this lady say, unpack before you pack. Meaning you take yourself wherever you go, you know. And if you running away from something, I mean, I got too much unfinished business to take care of right here with me. Because I realized that when I went to St. Martin, I had unfinished business. I mean, I was there for a week, but the situation that I had, it didn't make it any better. When I came back, I still had that situation. I had no income at the time. And my children and I was just, we're still going through healings and stuff. We're still going through healings, her healing journey. That's another video. But for you to, like, if I Google your name, like I Googled my child's name and I saw that he was in trouble, and that I can't even trust my children right now. I mean, matter of fact, I wouldn't dare have them my life in their hands. So, like I told them, I would, never have to worry about taking care of me. I took care of my mom. Yeah, 'cause I grew up seeing that. I don't want them taking care of me, touching me or nothing, you know, 'cause I don't like a lot of stuff that I see. Um, they deal with too many toxic, uh, unhealthy relationships, for one thing. You think I'm gonna live in some shit like that? No. That's why, me and their father, when we was married, that's a whole nother story. I just keep them in prayer. But yeah, I can't trust them, especially if my son and I, a lot of times we bump heads, and he thinks he's my dad. But I have to, he don't, it's a thing that when he was growing up, he got a lot of whoopings. So that has a lot to play in it too. So they think that now, since they older, they think they can come back at me sometimes in a certain way. But I show them a lot of times before I tell them. I showed them even now, but they still have to come back to me, ask me for this, or he'll ask me for money or something like that. I'll just say no. You know, um, he was in jail one time for a whole year, and they did not tell. Everybody else knew. You know, my ex husband is not his father, but everybody else knew except me. And you think I can trust somebody like that? That's why I came up with the podcast and don't tell mama, because it was a lot of stuff I did and I didn't tell my mother, you know. And so that's what it's gonna be about with my mom, about how I didn't tell her things. And you have to be careful what you do because he'll come back to on you. And that's what's going on with him too. A lot of stuff he taking me through and still taking me through is coming back through his teenage children. And they hate when I speak facts on them and how it comes forward. They can't take that. So that's why a lot of times they say, don't tell mama. Because karma is real. Karma comes at whatever good you put out or whatever bad you do. And my karma is really came back through my children because I took my mom through some stuff. So that's what don't tell mama. My my podcast one comedy tour on the platforms. I'm just, so I'll just be posting it just like how I did this. Don't tell mama. If you came this far, I'm grateful for you listening with me. I'm long. I talk. When I talk, I talk. When I write, I write. When I sketch, I sketch. We have a lot to say. So I took my ibuprofen. I take that about 5 of them because they only 200 mg. I take that every day because it helps with my pain and everything. So that's the only thing I take because I got tired of waking up taking medicine all for 8 years when I got diagnosed. But anyway, I'm gonna let you all go. I guess I've been on for about an hour or so. I appreciate you all for supporting, and even in my replay, the sound of my voice, you hear the sound of my voice. God is doing something in your lives. Salvation is free. but you pay a price to be anointed and make a difference in people's lives. And a lot of you all are anointed in a lot of things. A lot of you all are black sheets of the family and chosen ones and intercessors and prayer warriors. Yeah. Remember, I love you all and Jesus loves you more. Jesus is your friend. You all take care.